everyone, my name is Nicola. I am simply a stitcher. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, it's great to have you, and if you are returning, thank you for coming and spending some more time with me today. So today I'm going to do Stitch With Me, and this will be one with chat, so I'll be going through some of my lovely comments. And I'm working on this piece. This is Night Cafe, Supersized Max Colour, artwork by Leonid Afremov, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I'm up in the top section. I have a long way to go on this chart, almost 1 million stitches. I'm stitching it 2/1 tent stitch using my version of snake method, and I'm going to crack on, get focused in, crack on and get some stitching in. So yeah, I've done 110 stitches up to now. So I hope everybody is okay. I've got Andy with me this morning. He's still off work. The car is still being repaired. And Hannah is in. Lauren's already gone to school. Cat's knocking about, you know, this kind of usual stuff. Yeah, it's another gloomy July morning. It's done nothing but rain. It'd be really nice to actually get a summer this year. But if I'm honest, I'm not holding out much hope at this stage. They keep promising us lots of lovely sunshine, but it's just not happening. So yeah, I've had a couple of messages. I put out a floss tube yesterday. Got a couple of messages about me and how I was. I'm absolutely fine, just a little tired at the moment. It's been a busy, well, it was a busy weekend, and Monday was quite a busy day. And of course, I actually filmed several videos on the Monday, not just my floss tube. Yeah, I think it was just a bit of a hectic day. So as I film this, it's Wednesday. It'll go out on Saturday. But yeah, it is a gloomy morning. And I really do hope that, excuse me, we do see a bit of a weather improvement. Let's hope. So I went into office yesterday, and where I sit, there's like a big atrium through the building, and it was very dark and miserable in there. And then in the afternoon the sun came out, and I was like, well, that's hopeful. Might not be raining when I leave. Left the office, got to the tram stop, and it started chucking it down. I'm like, great. And as we left the car park, the rain then got heavier and heavier and heavier, and for a brief moment it was like a monsoon, which always sort of makes you worry. But luckily, there she goes again. The lady who gave me a lift home yesterday was a confident driver and didn't faze her at all. Andy, Hannah wants you.
What's up?
I can't reach the tub.
What's up?
She needs a tub for lunch. So I've got a number of comments to go through today. I left my comments last time after the floss tube number 25, so I'm going to start on the Wednesday live stream comments. Live stream number 3, and the first one is from the lovely Mrs. Miggins, who says, congratulations Nicola on a fantastic finish. I'm sorry I couldn't join you. It's not a problem. I do understand that, you know, not everybody can make, you know, so please don't apologise for that. At least you got to see it, because, you know, my lives are always available on replay. But I do plan to put future finishes on lives because I think it's really nice. It's nice that I can share my finishes with you guys. Who else would I share them with when I'm at home? You know, so I think about it like that. All I would do is, you know, obviously I'd share with my immediate family, but, you know, you guys who are watching on the live streams see the absolute joy in a finish, whereas people who don't stitch see it as a finish, if that makes sense. So then on also that live stream, I had some comments from somebody who was speaking to me in Korean. So I hopped across to Google Translate and I responded to her also in Korean. And she was asking about my princess and the count that she was done on, and, you know, and so on. And Google Translate, of course, came up with the goods. But I did caveat my replies by saying that it was Google Translate. So, yeah, it's really nice to have a function like Google Translate, and to be able to communicate with people where otherwise you would have no clue, really, no idea what to say. So that was a nice moment, because Google Translate, you can put in text of any language and it will automatically detect which language it's in, which is handy. That's how I know that this lady, I presume a lady, was in Korea, or certainly a Korean national. Okay. So also on that Wednesday live stream, Diane Miller says, hooray, congratulations, well done. Thank you for sharing your finish with us. And then CD Mothers, hi, I'm watching after the live. No problem at all. So then some of my next comments, well, my next comment is on the Stitch With Me that I did with Sailing Fairy, where Laurie Clark comments, holy confetti, it's so colourful, yes. The top portion of the crown on Sailing Fairy, and the top bit of her hair is indeed very confetti heavy, but absolutely beautiful and so worth it. You know, we all grumble about confetti, but once we've seen the end result, it just turned out rather good. Can you just check in case that's Lauren?
It's not.
All right, okay. Oh yeah, so we all grumble about the confetti, but it does make pieces, doesn't it? My tummy's having a growl this morning. Bidman on my live stream, Bidman71, says, I caught up with you. I have to say congratulations on the finish. I also have to say thank you for bringing me back to cross stitch. It's lovely to hear. It's really nice when people say to me that I've inspired them to pick up their needle or to carry on working on that piece that has been testing them. It's worth it in the end. And that's my, kind of philosophy, that it's worth it in the end. I love stitching. I'm often told here that if I don't have a needle in my hand, it looks odd. So, yeah, I'll always bang the gong and say, if you're struggling, pick up your piece for 5 or 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, just pick it up for 5 or 10 minutes every day or a couple of times a day. And then all of a sudden, it'll just rush back. And before you know it, you've done 5 or 10 hours. It does happen. Sometimes we find ourselves in what I call a stitchy funk. Bless you, Hannah. So yeah, I've always sort of had that. Spend 5 or 10 minutes, pick it up, do a few stitches, put it down, do something else, walk away, go wash up, dig a bed in the garden, that kind of thing. Come back to it. It's surprising. Your mind will want to come back. But yeah, it's lovely when people say that, spending time with me has got them to picking up a needle again. I love the creativity of it more than anything, and the fact that it's like, building blocks. You put the building blocks together and you create something beautiful. And it's unique to you, because nobody will ever stitch a piece the same way you do. Jeannie Lightner, again on my live stream, says, woohoo, congrats on the finish. Angel's zoomies in the cat box was priceless. Yeah, it certainly was. We weren't saying it was priceless though at the time, Jeannie. We can laugh about it now. But yeah, she's little minx. And she's had her 4th gotcha day. We've now had Angel for 4 years. But she's definitely older than 4 because she was 7 when we got her. So she's now a little old lady of 11. Thanks, Hannah. So the 4th of July is her gotcha day. It's an easy one to remember. We rehomed her for somebody that we knew during lockdown. And yeah, she's...
Everybody else got lockdown puppies. We got lockdown cats.
Yeah. She's fitted in, although she can be a bit of a minx. But that's the nature of cats, isn't it? You getting some early pings this morning, dear?
I know, but I've got my headphones on because I don't want it to
The
interfere.
one's popular. The one.
Oi, don't be rude.
Anna knows no other.
We shall learn. Okay, so Betty Lou Taylor, again on my live stream, says, congrats, great work. And then user letters and numbers says, hello, yes, I can hear you. I always have to do a bit of a sound check at the beginning of my lives because, you know, you never know. I've managed to knock the sound off during a live stream, which was bright of me. There you go. So on the 1st of July, I did release a whip parade, a mid-year whip parade where I showed my progress over the last 6 months. And Judy Stone says, wonderful whip parade, envy is such a beautiful piece. Well, they all are, but I'm partial to that one for some reason. I'm always amazed how much can be done when one's consistent in stitching. Andy was the perfect helper with some humour thrown in. Happy stitching. Thanks, Judy. Yeah,
I'm not that funny.
No, you're not.
I have my rotation set up so that, you know, I'm going to get a minimum of 4,000 stitches in a week. And then, you know, any extra is, you know, extra. For me, 4,000 is always achievable. The extra stuff is a bonus, but of course it does depend on other stuff I've got going on because life, as we know it, can get in the way. You know, so it's having a consistent rotation as well. I think that does help. And it means that I've got achievable goals for me, and I've been able to, oh, excuse me, I've been able to get to those goals quite easily. So yeah. So that's the thing I would say, that if you are looking at a rotation, make sure it's achievable. That's my top tip on there. She also comments on the floss tube number 25 with Andy, and says, beautiful whips, so many stitches, and I love the progress you've made. Whoa, wait a minute, I recognise Andy from his channel. I kept thinking he looked so familiar, and the voice had my memory ringing. Hannah, shush. Thank you for solving that mystery. I love seeing all the churches and villages he highlights. Plus, I'm learning so much about England. Happy stitching. Well, Andy has a little smile on his face whenever I tell him a comment like that. He does love to have that good feedback, so thank you for that.
Andy has very little confidence.
Exactly.
But he doesn't. He never says it. He never says it on his videos.
Yes, I get that, dear. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. If you'd have let me finish. So, yes. This is my stitch with me, by the way. Hush. Yeah, Andy doesn't have much self-confidence, but we all tell him that he's knocking it out of the park. But he just doesn't sort of tend to believe that. But I'm sure in time he'll be happy with what he's done, and he will eventually start to believe everybody around him that keeps telling him the same thing. And hopefully he'll get there. So thank you for that. We just have to keep hammering the point home. Okay. Just moving squares. So Diane Miller on my whip parade says, great progress on all your whips. Thank you for sharing your progress with us, and hi to Andy for his assistance. I think Andy quite enjoys sitting in on my whip parades. They're fun. Although I don't take very long on them. I've seen some, I think the longest whip parade I've seen was Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and it was 4.5 hours. Now, I will confess to not having watched all of that. I think mine was about 20-ish minutes. And, you know, I've seen some an hour and a half kind of thing. And next year, my whip parade will probably, you know, it will certainly be a little bit longer because I'm adding 12 new projects. So, but yeah. We do like a whip parade. And then the lovely Sharon says, fabulous whip parade, great to see your progress on all these lovely pieces. Thank you, Sharon. I was quite amazed really at a couple of them at just how much they'd come along. I mean, obviously I knew my princess had come along very well because we'd finished her. But, you know, a few of them, like She Sleeps, has come along tremendously as well. And that's before I started my focus for finished stitches. So yeah, it's been very good, even very good for me to see the progression just from the start of the year. I mean, obviously, like all of my pieces, part that in the wrong place. I hope for more. We all do. All of us hope for more stitches, but we can only do what we can do. Jeannie comments on the whip parade as well, saying amazing progress on your whips and finishes. Thanks for the half-year update and the time to make the video. No problem at all, Jeannie. I enjoyed it. I do enjoy making my videos. Sometimes I'm squeezing the filming in, but, you know, sitting down and sharing what I love with you all is really a pleasure. It's never a chore to share my stitching. It can be a pain in the neck sometimes, de-hooping everything and all that, but it gives me an opportunity to see my work in all its glory, as it were. So okay. Linda Loves to Stitch comments on my whip parade as well and says, I love your whip parade, excellent as always. Thank you, Linda. And Renee also comes in and says, such beautiful whips, your progress keeps me motivated. Great stuff, Renee. Stay motivated. Okay. Then on Flush Tube 26, where I showed my princess finished, Lauren dropped in on that flush tube. She was off school that day, an inset day, or as they were known in my day, teacher training day.
Teacher shopping day.
Renee, no. Renee says, hi Lauren, great progress. Nicola, beautiful finish. Of course, I was showing off my princess. I was scrolling Facebook yesterday, and one of my friends has started the full version of my princess, and I was like, oh, that looks so good. I right enjoyed doing mine. And she's like, yeah, it's because of you I'm doing it. You know, the full version has more to the left, a lot more to the right, and about half the length again at the bottom. I think if I'd have done the full version, I would have gotten bored, if I'm honest. But yeah, that the one that I've done, I'm very happy with. And she's had a bath. And if the video is not already out, which it probably will be, it will be out very soon. But I may have already put it out at the time that I've put this video out, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, then, love, bit of a sigh. You know, waiting by the phone today for a phone call, aren't we, love? Okay. So Sharon comments on, again on Flush Tube 26, Sharon Fennell, saying, I love watching the lives when you finish a piece. Let's hope I'm still around when you finish Night Cafe, given the finish date according to Stitch Pal. Yeah. Well, let's hope, eh? I mean, I do plan on getting some extra stitches in on this piece next year. And I think looking even further in the distance forward to 2026, my supersized max colours are going to be the finish focuses that year, because yeah, they're going to need some extra work, aren't they? Bring down those finish dates. Right. Any chance of another coffee, my love?
Yeah, there is. Just give me a sec.
In Stitches with Ebony comments on Flush Tube 26 and says, congratulations on your finish of my princess. She looks amazing. Now on to She Sleeps. I'm so tempted to buy that one after seeing you stitch it. Yeah. She Sleeps is lovely. A lot of pinks and salmons and burgundies and beiges and browns. But yeah, she's lovely. And I'm doing a max colour version, just the regular size, but max colour. It took me, I've made no secret about She Sleeps, it's taken me a while to get into stitching her. But now, you know, it's like I'm sort of sailing away on it. I do love stitching her now. And because she's on 20 count 2/1, it can be a little bit thick, a little bit bulky. But the ball tip needle that Sandy sent me has helped with that enormously. So I do feel like I'm making progress on it. I think as well my fingers are sort of hardening up a little bit to pushing the needle through, because it is taking a little bit extra to push the needle through on the 20 count. But yeah, I'm getting there. I think when I'm doing the one ring next year, the Tilton piece that I got, I'm going to be looking at doing that on 20 count, but I'm going to do it 2/1 tent stitch, I think, like this piece. I'm not 100% sold on that yet, so it could change, because I've got some 28 count. I could do 1/1 full cross. But yeah, I've also got some 16 count. 16 count might be good. And very left field, I've got some 14 count black, so I could do it and not stitch the 310, because there's a lot of 310. I have to make a decision on that one. I showed it to my friend at work, who's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, because, you know, I take She Sleeps into the office, and of course I take my tablet, which has got Pattern Keeper on it, and he knew I was doing the map, and I showed him the One Ring, and he was blown away. And he was like, that's amazing. But yeah, I mean, doing it on 14 count might be a shout, and not stitching all that black. So again, on Floss Tube 26, Laurie says, wash that poor princess. Love all your whips. I only have one full coverage, but many whips. Princess will get a wash. She will. Well, she already has. So it's just whether or not you've seen it yet. Because as requested, I did make a video of my washing process and how it's worked for me. And, you know, as I say in the video, I know everybody's different, use different soaps and stuff, but I shared how I do it. And yeah, it'll give you an idea of what that process is and how it works. Okay, Patricia Pillin comments to say congratulations. Cough. You know, sometimes when you're just prodding and prodding at Pattern Keeper and trying to get it to mark off, and it's just like, no, I'm just going to change over which colour that you're stitching, and it's because you've not highlighted mark off. Maria Tempest comments on live stream number 4 saying, sorry that I missed the stream. It's not a problem, Maria. I do get that sometimes people can't make it. Please don't worry. And I know that you're a regular participant certainly in my Sunday stream. And it's always lovely to have you. And Leslie on live stream Wednesday stream number 4 also comments saying, so sorry I missed your live, but watching later. No problem at all. Thanks, my love. So then Laurie also comes in and says also, sorry I missed this. Your current projects should gain stitches with Princess finished. Looking forward to seeing your unboxing. Yeah. Yes, I'm hoping that between now and the end of the year, current projects do gain some stitches and we get them all moving onwards. If I didn't now drop this strand of thread. Okay, Clover Stitcher on my last Chatty Stitch with me says, every time that you show envy, I want it. Well, it's still available on the Haid website, and if you drop on when they're having a sale, you can have it at usually half the price. I love those Marta Darlings. I've got a few Marta Darlings actually. I've got a couple of other ones which I might have a look at to fill in my last 2 slots for next year. I've certainly got Andromeda. So I might just have a little look. You know, I don't need to buy anything else because I've got that many patterns already. So I might just have a look in my pattern files. Because if I've got Andromeda, I might start her. It's another very green piece, like Envy. And of course I have also got another 5 sins, but I'm doing the sins one at a time. Okay. Katinka says, I enjoyed your stitchy chat and nice to hear you explain and show your double-handed technique. I will have to practice. Yeah, I'm going to try and do a more detailed video about it, one where it's kind of a split screen, if we can do that, and Andy's going to be looking over at me now, listening to what I'm saying, where there's film from what's happening on the top and also what's happening underneath at the same time.
You're asking a lot of me there. I genuinely don't know how to do that.
Well, I'll have to have a look and see if it is possible. I would imagine it is, but Andy might just have to brush up on his, further his editing skills a bit more to do it.
I can think of one way I can do it, but it wouldn't be what you're saying.
What we like, picture-in-picture kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. But
I
yeah,
can do that.
we'll have to have a look because obviously it's hard. You can't see what my bottom hand's doing. You can only see the top. But if you can see what the bottom hand's doing, you can see just how little movement it does in order to complete the stitching. So, yeah. I literally barely move the bottom hand at all. It's always touching the fabric. Yeah, it's apart from, there are occasions where I am pulling the thread through. So it's not, but generally speaking, it's touching the fabric all the time.
I zipped it up too far, and now I can't get it down.
Oh, right, okay.
Would you be so kind? Thank you.
22 years old and we still have to help her get dressed.
No, I zipped it up.
You could have took it off.
And I put it on, and I zipped it up too far.
You could have took it off and zipped it down. Didn't think of that, did you?
Well, no, because I can't put it. It's too tight on me if I try and put it on.
All right.
But it zips up. That's why I zip down, and that's why I zip her up. And I put it up too far, and I couldn't reach it. My hands are really short.
I don't know. 22 years old and getting dress problems. Okay. JLS75 says, I love stitching with you. Good to know. Keep coming. Keep stitching. It's good to know that people are enjoying my stitchy content. Jeannie on live stream, Wednesday stream number 4, says, I was able to catch up on Thursday, national holiday in the US. Great progress as always. Happy stitching. Good stuff. Okay. Brenda on Stitch With Me with Envy, the last chatty, says, apologies for misspelling your name. No worries at all. Happens all the time. I've been called, I work on our live chat service at work, and I get called all sorts of things, and my name is spelled in all sorts of different ways, and so I'm quite used to it. Don't worry, I don't take any offence whatsoever. I always get called Nicole. It happens a lot. Predictive text is a pain. Yeah, indeed. Just marking that off. Thank you so much showing how you keep the thread on the needle. I followed how you do the double stitch, and I would very much appreciate if you can find the time to do the tutorial. Yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do, Brenda. Love all your videos. Don't always get to see the live, but do watch on replay. Of course, that is the advantage of having replay. always watch them when you can. No worries at all. Moving square again. Separate the threads. Okay. So Sandy, my lovely friend, says, I enjoyed stitching along with you today. I'm really enjoying your lives. I was blown away with the princess finish, over 60 viewing. Yeah, me too. I was as well. And, you know, the thing is as well, I titled that one, Let's Finish Marry Princess. And, you know, it wasn't a clickbait title. It was we are actually genuinely going to finish this piece. And I think as well that's appreciated, because I'm not saying it, and it happens in the stitching community, but lots of times on YouTube, you'll get a title of a video and you'll think, oh, I'll go and watch that. And it's nothing like what you thought. So, you know, I mean, you know me, you get my sort of thing that I'm kind of known for now is you get a dose of honesty and a dose of real life. And part of that is that I won't ever, you know, clickbait. What I tell you I'm going to do, I'm going to do. So, you know, yeah, all good. She says, I was so pleased for you. I agree, it's a great way to finish live. Hope the family are well. Andy's special was brilliant. Thanks for sharing. Take care and happy stitching. Yeah, Andy's and the London special that we did, we really enjoyed making it. We enjoyed the time that we had in London. Yes, it was a lot of walking, but so worth it. And we saw such a lot of stuff that we didn't know about, and we made lots of discoveries along the way. Sometimes, like we've always said, on his channel as a whole, just taking a step off the beaten track, the prescribed path, you can find something.
Sorry, little wardrobe issue. If I cut that, is it going to unravel my whole top?
No.
Right, can you like put it off then, since you're here? Don't pull it, Mum. Thank you. I can't go put it like a scrub.
So yeah, we always said that if you go off the beaten track just by a few steps, it's amazing what you can find. And we've found some special stuff, haven't we?
Yeah.
As we film for your channel.
Anyone seen my sock?
No.
What socks?
They're like a beige colour. I took them out the bag just for the obvious, clearly, but look at it. The words upstairs.
No idea.
I'll have another
I
look.
don't know where they are. I've no idea.
I'll find something.
Okay. So on my mid-year whip parade, Jane Murray puts a few hearts for me. Thank you, Jane. Hope you enjoyed. And then back to live stream number 4. I do apologise, these comments don't always come in order. Jeannie comments to say, stitching with you on Saturday, trying to catch up on all your videos from this week. Just love the flowers in this one. I'm thinking that on live stream 4 I was stitching She Sleeps on the Wednesday. Just double check. Yeah. Okay. So, lovely Missy comments on Stitch With Me with Envy. And says, thanks for a lovely stitch with me. Really enjoyed it this morning. A slow start to the day with coffee and a video from you. Envy is looking gorgeous, and I was talking about a film I'd seen on Netflix, and Missy comments that she's seen it. She loved it, but she loves Liam Neeson anyway. So, yeah. A great film. We enjoyed it. Well, I enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm one of those that if I find something that I like, I share it so others can share and like it too. Have I got a part? Oh, it's not a part thread. Thought it was a part thread there. It turned out to be thread end. Okay. So next comment is a lovely comment from Kelly's Quilts and Cruises on my whip parade. Whip parade time, we always get some new subscribers to the channel, and Kelly is one of those. And she comments to say, "Hi Nicola, I'm new to your channel, but I'm enjoying all of your projects. I'm getting back into a little bit of cross stitch. I've done almost exclusively quilting for the last 9 years. I'd love to quilt. But the call of the floss is luring me. Nice to meet you and good job helping out, Andy. Greetings from British Columbia, Canada." Welcome, Kelly. There's quite a lot of your Canadian citizens that watch my channel. I think that's the only way I can describe it. There's quite a lot of you from Canada, which is lovely. And you know, do, if you're able to, of course, join in on the lives. It's always lovely to have some interaction. Very lovely, Hannah. You look great. So on FlossTube 26, showing off my princess. Mal comments showing, thanks for showing the back of Night Cafe. It looks a lot like mine. Yeah, it tends to have, with tent stitching, it tends to sort of be a bit sort of carpety. Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love you too. Off you go, pest.
Yeah, I'll have to work on my day off.
There. But the one good thing though about, you know, tent stitching this in the way that I am, there's no distorting. The fabric staying square. It looks a touch distorted here, but that's because of the at the top, because that's on this line, but that's because of the hoop.
We're supposed to be. Now I've got to take the coat.
Don't worry, Hannah, drips don't get wet.
No, I've done my hair on there, so now I've got to sit down back in the coat.
Okay, rain problems. Like I said, definitely a gloomy July. Today is the 10th of July.
Bye, love you.
Bye, chicken, love you. And it's still chucking it down. Where is the summer? So Kelly's Quilts and Cruises comments also on my last ASMR, my Amy Stewart piece, and says, "Those Amy Stewart charts are so pretty. I would consider doing the wine shelf ones sometime. They are so big though." Yeah, they are big. I'm doing the regular size of a stitching shelf, and it's 375,000 stitches. Very much worth it, because they do look beautiful. I looked at the wine shelf myself, but ultimately, you know, I ended up with stitching shelf. I think looking back on it, I'm really glad that I have stitching shelf, because the wine shelf did look a bit in comparison, it certainly wasn't anywhere near as colourful. Just move my stand slightly. Kel's Bells on my last Sunday stream, which will be the last comment that I read today. She says, great live stitching session. All of your stitching's beautiful. You inspire me to go through the hard times when stitching ahead. Yeah, it can be rough going sometimes, but as I've always said, if you do a few stitches here, a few stitches there, all of a sudden that pull will come back and you'll be back on stitching it full speed in no time. You know, don't get me wrong, sometimes I don't feel very stitchy. But then I sit with my piece and think, you know what, look at the progress, look how far you've come. Let's get that needle out and see how much progress we can get. And I do usually enjoy my stitchy sessions. So, yeah. So I'm going to leave comments there because the next batch are my unboxing of my Gecko Rouge kit and my floss tube, and they will give us a nice start for the next stitch with me. So we still have about a half an hour, so I'm gonna get on and stitch some more of this, and if there's any chat to add in, I will do so. If I can think of anything. Well, I imagine Andy's here, he might think of something.
Well, that's asking a lot of me, but okay. I'll try.
Hannah's gone to work now, so... And she shut the back door like a wally.
That's all right.
So, I did do an unboxing of my latest acquisitions from Gecko Rouge. Takes me to 9 kits for the year of the gecko. And you may have seen them by now. If not, the video will be linked on the card at the end, possibly. If not, I might just pop it in on the top right. I've picked another Lorna Lane piece, the unicorn. One I've seen Nikki at Nikki Crafts do, and it's beautiful. She finished it, I think it was either last year or the year before, I can't remember. And the companion piece to the London piece that Andy got me for Christmas, I got Tower Bridge, the Sophie Kilpatrick one. So that is now 9 kits for my new starts next year. Adding in the Lord of the Rings one takes me to 11. No, it takes me to 10. I can't even count. And I have 2 more kits to select, or 2 more pieces to select. But as I just said, thinking about it, I've got some charts already, so I'm going to have a look through those. But definitely once I've been to the big stitch, I'll be finalising next year's plans. Hawkins Hobbies are going to be there. And whilst I do a lot of like fancy ladies, they also do chatelaines. So I'm going to have a look.
Here's me pretending what all that means.
Fancy ladies are like Mirabilias, Bella Filipinas. They're like a lady on a theme, like a mermaid or a witch or a queen or something like that. And they have lots of beadings and backstitchings.
Oh, okay. I'm sure you'll be a lot of that.
And the chatelaines are, what do they call it when it's something symmetrical but it's all 4 ways? the same. The quarter is the same. All the 4 quarters.
I don't know.
It's like a mandala type thing, I suppose.
I don't know what that's called.
I suppose it's like a mandala. You know, like when you look through a kaleidoscope, and it's the same.
Yeah.
Whichever way up you put the, you know, whichever way up the image is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But these chatelaines have themes.
Okay.
So, but they also have like lots of speciality stitches and beads and charms and stuff. So I'm going to have a look at them, because Hawkins Hobbies do chatelaines. They do some smaller ones. I've seen some smaller ones. I'm going to have a look. And of course, there's another, you know, a lot of other vendors that are going to be there as well. Like, I think there's more than 20 or something like that. Sarah's going to be there, Pain Free Crafts, Stitch Ferret, Cough Crafts Fabrics, so lots of fabric providers. It'll be fun. I don't have a list offhand, but it'll be fun, I'm sure. But I am quite looking forward to finalising what I'm going to be starting, and I will be making a video about it, of course. Probably it will be in early August when I do that, so early next month, and then I'll be able to share my plans with you all. But definitely now I've got to sort of thinking about the one ring. Do I stitch it on 14 count black and leave out all of the black? That's going to take some thought. But why have I missed a stitch there? Missed a stitch out of this colour like a wally. The kiddies are off to school. I can hear mums outside. With a little primary school just round the corner. Not primary school.
Yeah.
Is it a primary school?
Well, it's an infant school.
Infant school, yeah. The one that Lauren went to. It's certainly too big for primary school now. She's been doing her mock exams. I think she's coped quite well. She said there was some silliness in the exam room when they were doing the maths, and literally like every minute somebody was dropping a calculator or something on the floor, and the staff and invigilators I don't think were particularly happy. But that's what teenagers do. It wouldn't have happened when I were at school though. We'd have got into so much trouble. I don't even think we were allowed a calculator.
No, they have two papers, one where you're allowed it and one where you're not.
All right. I don't think we were allowed one either way. Don't forget, I took my exams 10 years before you did.
You did? Have you run out of things to talk about now?
I have, yeah. Run out of comments. Well, I said run out. I've not run out. But I keep some back to start off the next stitch with me. So we're just getting some stitchy miles in. My day at work coming up. Although after yesterday, I was like, I'm ringing in sick. It's a bit of a day yesterday. I was in the office, as I said, and the weather wasn't all that. But it was just a hard day. I was ready to come home, I tell you. Thankfully, I don't have those days very often. But when I do, I was quite tired last night too. I went to bed and I think I was asleep fairly quickly. By the time I'd finished up doing what stitching I wanted to do before I went to bed, my right eye particularly was drooping quite badly. I was very tired. I've noticed that my right eye does tend to droop quite a bit when I'm tired. Have you noticed that though?
No, I can't say I have, but I believe you.
Must be an age thing. I reckon it droops more as I get older.
You're not 50 yet.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm only 6 months away.
What's your point?
He said I'm not 50 yet.
Yeah.
Point is that I'm 6 months from being 50.
6 months away from being 50. In my book, you're still 49. Tell me I'm wrong.
Hey, I'm 21 and tax. So the kids say. I came in last night about 6:30 and didn't see Lauren at all until 9 o'clock, 9:30, you know, when it was time for her to settle for bed. Because, you know, typical 15-year-old upstairs, hiding away in a room, talking to her mates on the phone.
Like you do.
She came down and I was like, I've been here since 6:30, Lauren. Oh, sorry, Mum, she says.
You will be.
You know, I get that, you know, she's 15 and she wants to talk to her mates because that's what I wanted to do at 15. I didn't have what she has. I didn't have mobile phone or anything like that. If I wanted to talk to my mates, I had to walk and go meet them.
You did.
So I think she's got it quite lucky, really. Yeah, she's got access to technology. We did have a house phone. It was only for emergencies, and if you used it, you had to put, you know, 10p in a pot by the phone to help pay the bill. I think everybody had one of those back in the 80s.
Yeah.
My next door neighbour, when I was a kid, he when we were not on the phone, we used to ask him if we could use his. And he was like, well, yes, but only if it's an emergency, that kind of thing. I'm like, well, yeah, it is. You know, we wouldn't be asking if we didn't, you know, need it for something important. And he'd be like, the only thing is, you see, BT, they charge you from the second you lift the receiver up.
No, they don't.
And we all thought that was complete rubbish. We all thought that. But we just sort of humoured him and, you know, okay, that's fine. You know, we'll be ready to dial the number the second that we've picked up the phone.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he used to really say that BT would charge him from the second you lift the receiver up.
My God.
I know. And it's not, because it's the second that you're connected. It was to try and deter us from using his phone.
The things people will believe.
The things that people used to come out with in the 80s.
Well, I mean, there's probably something akin to that around these days, but that just sounds stupid. I mean, how daft do you have to be to believe that?
Well, like I said, we didn't believe it. We just humoured him.
I mean, I've heard some things in my time.
He eventually moved onto a houseboat.
Oh, right.
I don't know how he went on to be connected to the phone then.
Maritime services. Oh dear.
Things were very different in the 80s. I'm pretty sure that my girls think that when I grew up, the world was black and white.
It was, don't you know?
They can't believe that we only had, three then 4 channels on the television, which is as way back as I can remember. That you actually had to physically get up and change the channel. There was no remote controls. Microwaves were a rare thing. Duvets were a rare thing. Yes, we had, fads and stuff that you have these days. But, there were things came across from America, but very slowly. Like Cabbage Patch. Cabbage Patch dolls were a big thing when I was a kid. Never had one.
Cabbage Patch Dolls.
Yeah, Cabbage Patch dolls. I personally would say about Cabbage Patches, they were not particularly aesthetically pleasing. If you just Google them, you'll see.
You're all right, I believe you.
Varsity clothing that came across from the States. Rah-rah skirts, ankle boots. Leg warmers. Leg warmers were a big thing in the 80s. And films like Fame and Flashdance and what have you, they were a big thing. Bless you. And we used to have like sticker books that we'd collect stickers in. Like I remember one particular coming out at the end of the 80s, which was a Neighbours sticker book. And we always used to swap stickers. Football albums, and I think you can still get them today. They were very big though in the 80s. So record the top 40 on a cassette and get annoyed because the DJ would be talking across either the beginning or the end of the record. So many things about the 80s. I can remember Band-Aid in 1984 and Live Aid. But back then, if a band was touring, they were touring to promote an album. And nowadays, they release an album to promote a tour. It's different. I mean, going to concerts and stuff was a huge privilege. I never ever got to one until 1992. And only then because I was given a ticket. But, you know, all my girls have been to concerts from, I think the youngest one when it was about 10. I mean, computers were just sort of coming out in the 80s. Great big computers in our library at school, and a compact disc that was the size of an album. Big BBC computer. If we wanted to know anything, we had to go to the library, find an encyclopedia and hope it had the answer. You could say kids these days don't know they're born. Some of the facilities and stuff that they have that we just didn't get. Yeah, I mean, what would we do without Google? How many of us now use Google on a daily basis, several times a day? I'm using it all the time. I use it at work. Yeah, somebody will ring in and have a particular kind of query, and I've never heard of that. I'll have to Google it. I remember going to my cousin's on a Saturday and him having a Sinclair Spectrum computer. And me thinking it was the best thing since sliced bread, and we used to play games on it. And they were like, you know, very sort of dot matrix sort of type. They were very low quality graphics, but these things were the bee's knees. Amazing how the world's changed. Anyway, a few more minutes and I'll be wrapping this one up. Done quite well today. I did 110 before I started this stream, this video, so and I'm nearing the 500 mark, so not done bad. See how many I can get done in these last few minutes. Bless you, dear. What's the traffic rumbling about today? Nice when you get a little patch of rows of stitches. Feels like progress. Right, so let's just mark off. So 350 stitches done. I'm now up to 460. So come down that next column there. So yeah, happy with that. So I'm going to leave this one here and just end this video with my usual reminders. 3 videos appearing on your screen in a moment. If you've not seen those, please do go take a minute or two to have a look. I release a floss tube on Tuesdays, Stitch With Me's Thursdays and Saturdays, and live streams 7:30 p.m. UK time on a Wednesday. Occasionally I do put out extra videos as well, so obviously, you know, keep an eye out for those too. But that's all from me, so thank you all very much indeed for watching. Take care, happy stitching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.